I think the easiest way is to talk about our whys, right? Of why I became a leader, why you became a leader. I think for me, it was never like after you get out of college, it was never, I'm going to go find a job or a career. I'm going to be a leader. It was really more of, I don't know what I want to do in life. I graduated. I think a lot of people experience this. You graduate, and then the next step comes down to, okay, what do you do next? I find a job. Find a job in what? Some people have the mindset on like they know exactly what to do, but I think majority of us don't know what we're gonna do. It's not only the job, it's not only the career, it's also what industry, what department. Can I even apply for a job that is a large corporation? Will I be qualified? It's always the catch 22 of like you need experience to be able to get this job. If I don't get a job, I'm not gonna get experience, right? And when I got to a point in my career and I realized I was a leader, what came from that was really more of like I think I just wanted to be able to help people. I wanted to help people. I wanted to empower people. I wanted to be able to do things that were meaningful for me and be able to make an impact. And I want to be able to see my impact. Right. So I feel like the biggest thing comes down to knowing yourself. I've had over 30 some jobs, everything you can kind of think of to test the waters of like what I like, what I don't like this industry, the food industry, the retail industry, the insurance industry. Like I've tried all different things to be able to say to myself, what did I like? What did I not like? And I realized all of it came down to my passion of working with people, as well as my passion of being able to guide someone else, being able to scale a business, being able to empower an individual by giving them confidence in themselves. So the word leader in my mind was never a key component of I need to climb this ladder and be this leader. I need this title to be able to influence. It was really more of what can I do to make a difference for someone? And it didn't really necessarily matter on my title or role. I just wanted to help people.
Was there any a moment of reflection that you thought yourself, that was kind of like the pivot, say, "This is what I wanna do"?
Yes and no. I feel like after I graduated and tried out a few of the jobs, my first real challenge and career in life was my very first consulting staffing company job, where I just worked with the CEO and founder himself. That was kind of the opening for me of, hey, you have a task of helping me grow a business, but really there was no training. And this is what I need. I really had to get creative and apply what I knew from a business standpoint, just kind of based off of like trial and error and being able to, I guess, attack this challenge at hand. And I think at that point, it was really more of like experimental, right? That first company was experimental. And I started to hire people. I started to segment and create departments that we never had. Because naturally, you learn about what business needs and how to scale them. And then being able to train them because you did it all. You did all the jobs there was, right? So I started working on training each individual and started to grow the company. But at that moment, to me, I still didn't feel like, wow, I found what I love to do. I was leading. I think it was really more of after my second career into my most recent career or my third career is when I realized, oh, it wasn't necessarily like I didn't have a defined um, profession that I can say this is what I'm good at and this is what I do. Like it wasn't like I'm HR, I'm finance. It was really at the moment where I was able to successfully scale two businesses within such short amount of time, 2 to 3 years, and grow a team and train others and make others feel like empowered. And then the feedback I got the feedback I got, it was never from the employees or my peers. It was never like, I really enjoy your leadership. It was like, you made a huge impact. Like, we're like, oh, thank you so much. Well, can you teach me? Can you teach me how to do this? Or like, can I shadow you? Can I work with you? Like everybody wanted to learn from me in a way. And I was more than happy to share. And I think that was the moment I realized, wow, I'm able to help these two companies scale, and I'm able to transfer my knowledge to someone else for them to grow and expand and be able to scale themselves. And that's why I realized like what I love to do was being able to scale business. But even more, I loved being able to scale a business as well as hire people or include individuals to be able to help kind of scale themselves. And that's why I felt like, I was a true leader because all the feedback I was getting from everybody was kind of what hit me and the impact and results of it. So
Yeah. I think a lot of people will wonder, how did you get that first opportunity to lead?
I think that comes down to the question of what is a leader, right? I think it really comes down to everybody has the opportunity to lead. At least that's my opinion. It's just, do you lead with a title or without? Um, and ultimately, what are you passionate about? What is the purpose for you to lead? You ask like, what is your why? I think that's something people have to think about when they decide, hey, I want to be a leader or I want to climb the social ladder. Okay, why? Is it because you want to have the title and that's what success is to you? You'll be able to feel proud? Is it because you want the financial piece of it, make a lot of money? If so, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But then there's the other piece of being a leader. Do you want to lead because you want to make an impact? You want to influence, want to share your knowledge and your failures that you went through to get you where you're at so people don't make the same mistakes. Like, which way are you going to choose to give yourself the reason of the why? Why do you want to be a leader? Right. So I feel like it really comes down to what's important to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well said. From my experience, so I had a subpar experience with one of my first leaders. And it was a good person, generally speaking, of course. Like nobody's just out there to be negative or bad, of course. But he did do things that felt very selfish, or he would make others work while he was just kind of standing around not doing work, and people would see that, and he'd create this kind of animosity and frustration of why is he just sitting there calling the shots and doing nothing, and I have to do all the work. And it was a really good lesson to see what that person was doing and what wasn't working. So I remember very distinctly when I first got the opportunity to get into a leadership role. Actually, before that, to your point, it was basically picking up his slack because I thought to myself, okay, then a lot of people that worked in retail know that when you close down, you have a bunch of tasks to get done. And so the faster you get that task done, the faster you can leave when the door closes. And so it was just, hey, let's work together, get this done real quick. I'll take care of this side, you take care of that side. Instead of waiting for our supervisor to say that, we would just kind of do it ourselves. And then through a lot of that, I started gaining a lot of respect for my peers because I would do the work with them, but I would work as hard, if not harder than the rest of my peers. And the response was very positive because you're working hard. Cool, I'll cover the side. We'll share the load essentially. So I gained a lot of knowledge and a lot of like experience from that when I didn't have the title. So when time came to be given the title, and I remember my manager at the time said that you're already doing the job.
Hmm.
I'm granting you the title, but you've already been doing the job this whole time.
Hmm.
So that was a lot of my experiences. And then when I got that position, it was, well, I already know what to do. And now I had gained the respect of my peers because they knew I was a hard worker. And even when I became a leader, I was very consistently doing as much, if not more work than anybody around me to show that I'm putting in the time and effort. And they respected that. And so I think for me, the reason why I wanted to become a leader is because I saw things that I thought were so easy to tweak and make such a better experience to the people that work there and to yourself, the leader himself. You feel good to say, hey, these people trust me. I trust them. Of course, there's all these situations where you have to keep people accountable and kind of go through that experience. But for the most part, you're a team and you're there at the end of the day, you're there to make money. you provide for your family, but that doesn't mean you have to have a bad experience. You can have a really good experience. It's interesting how you had your experience. For me, it was more, well, it's similar in a sense, but for me, I was in a position where I was really annoyed by the leader. And I thought to myself, well, I could do it better. I can do these little things and work hard. And it worked, and that gave me the confidence to go to the next role in leadership. And once you follow these patterns, no matter what position you go to, you're going to automatically raise up as a leader.
Yeah, I mean, I will agree. Being a leader is, I feel like, I mean, when you go into a leadership position or when you have an opportunity to lead, it's really less of a job. It's really more of a passion. Your passion has to be with people.
For your people. Yeah.
Yeah, it's for your people. It's you may be going in and solving a problem for the company, but you're truly there to make a difference for people. And I mean, honestly, for most leaders to be very successful, there is the emotional empathy piece, that comes with it. I want to go in to an organization and I want to make a difference for the people. That's it. I want people to wake up every day happy and excited to go to work. I don't ever want to run a company where people wake up in the morning and say, another day, I'm dreading going to work. I want them waking up excited and happy. So it's this experience and environment you're building. And it's, I mean, truthfully, it's just the fact that you care,
Yeah.
right? So it truly comes down to fashion, not fashion, passion.
And some fashion.
Yeah, and some fashion. But I mean, I think a lot of it comes down to when somebody is starting off and you're thinking to yourself, I think I want to lead. I think the number one question comes down to why. Is it because you want to make a difference for yourself and the employees and the people? Or is it because you want to be able to climb and make the financial
Money,
money?
status,
Yeah,
right? Perception.
exactly.
Well said.
Perception. Those are all okay reasons to have for the reason that you want to lead. But then you have to really understand, okay, what level of leadership you're going to go into then? Truly, is leadership something you want? Could you get the status and monetary gains from a different role, for a different opportunity, right? As well as a leader, you're forever a lifelong learner. You have to be okay with that. You have to be open to that. You have to be able to accept criticism from people that are below you. You have to be able to have open mindedness. You have to be able to accept that even though I am a leader, I may be on the very top of the company, that some of the smartest decisions and learnings I'll get are from everybody from the ground. You have to stay humble. That is the true, I feel like, definition of if you want to go and be a leader and you want to lead, your emotional landscape of the reasons why needs to match. If purely in your mind is like, I hate dealing with people, I just want to be able to have my status and my money, fine. But I can't, I can't promise you you'll be a successful leader.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day,
Yeah.
everybody has their own reason.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me add 2 points to what you said, because you said some really good stuff there. One point that you made that I really want to highlight is all good leaders know when to follow,
Mhm.
right? So just like you said. And then the other one is your core reason needs to pair with some of the fundamentals of leadership that you would enjoy. What I'm trying to say with that is if you said, my goal is to make money, sure, that can be okay. As long as you realize that being a leader means that you'll be doing things like caring for people, you're learning about their strengths and weaknesses, you're leveraging their strengths, you're finding ways to improve them and make them better at what they
Empower.
do, empower them, absolutely. You have to have some of these feel good doing them. Otherwise, everybody can fake it for so long, right? But at some point, you have to enjoy what you're doing. Like money can be your reason as long as your journey to leadership, it's not a means to an end. Because when you say I am a leader, I want to start supervising, managing, and taking care of my employees, you have to know what that means. I'm going to care for my employees and I'm going to look out for them. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be the best at this and show them, lead by example, and those
Yeah.
kind of things.
Yeah. There's no job that is too good for a leader, right?
Right.
There's no employee, client, staff that is below a leader.
Right.
No, leaders think of themselves as equal
Right.
among everyone else.
I remember a particular leader of mine in the past had said, I'll never ask one of my employees to do something I wouldn't do myself.
Oh, 100% agree.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think a lot of my leadership approach has followed his style
Yeah.
because I felt so empowered. I guess a good way to put
Yeah.
it. I felt so empowered by his like presence and
Yeah.
the fact that it felt so good. It felt
Yeah.
like I was part of his team. I felt very
Yeah,
close
you
to them.
feel included. I mean, the other piece comes down to you had the exposure, and I think maybe a lot of people do, and
Mhm.
some people don't, but you had the exposure of what a bad leader look like,
Yes,
right? And now you had exposure of what a good leader look
that's
like.
right.
So you were able to combine the two. Even the bad leader taught you something. That's what I mean. Like you're
Yes,
as a leader mindset, it's the mindset.
right,
You're constantly learning. They may not have been a good leader to you,
right.
but you still learn something
Yeah.
from them. You learn what not to do.
And it was
Right.
not fun going through that experience.
Yeah.
Hindsight, as you say, it was very valuable, perhaps one of the
Yeah.
most valuable experiences I've had.
Yeah.
But I think to your point, we're always learners. And what at least you can do is just be very mindful and very aware of what's happening and how it's reacting to you and to your peers. So if you do get the opportunity to lead in the future, a lot of responsibility, there's a lot of pressure. Of course, you got to keep that in mind, but you can think to yourself, okay, they did this. They told us this message in a way that felt very cold and cruel. I should consider not doing that in this setting, let's say. So you just kind of, I think, always kind of
Or
keep your head on a
or
swivel.
or the thought process comes down to that's an interesting approach as a leader. Could I relate to it? Do I vibe with it? Because it could be a thing where somebody's not necessarily like, I will never do that. Because maybe there are environments or situations that require you to be a bad call. But then you are in those rooms or situations, and while you're observing other leaders, you are able to apply that to yourself in a way of, could I see myself taking this approach? Would I have taken a different approach in this situation? It's a constant learning of, wow, I admire the way this person handled the room or handled situation. And you run into a situation where, wow, I really disagree with how this person took the approach of handling the room or situation. But then you ask yourself, why do you feel one way or the other? How would you have done it different? Right. I think the biggest thing is when you're thinking about being a leader, you have to kind of sit down and evaluate, put the leader piece aside. What are you passionate about? And if you're passionate about leading, great. What's important to you? What are your core values? And being leader is just such a broad category because you need to sit and nail down. Do you want to lead in corporate? Do you want to lead in startups? Do you want to lead an engineering team? Do you want to lead a sales team?
Military,
Yeah, what do you want to be a leader for is going to be very important because your experience as a leader matters on where and who and what you apply your leadership to. You maybe have realized that leadership and leading others isn't your thing. Or there could also be the challenge of you may have been a leader in the wrong department or industry. So don't
bad
just
experience.
exactly by accident, just don't knock everything out,
Yeah.
because you had a one bad experience, right?
Yeah. And I'll add to that. I feel like from my perspective, not knowing the situation, I would really question how much of the fundamentals of leadership did this person know going into that? Did they know that a big part of their job would be learning about their team members? I feel like this is what we're trying to do here, right? But it's like people hopefully have a baseline foundation of how to lead before they have that opportunity to lead, even without the title, so that that experience is a genuine approach with fundamentals, so that they don't have the situation where perhaps they go to a leadership role. So, imagine these people going into these roles, they got selected because they were really good sales. Now they're in a whole different dynamic. Hopefully they know the fundamentals, say, okay, I got to change gears now. I used to sell, but now I'm leading sales team members. That's a very different strategy. So, and hopefully what you do coming here to watch these videos is to learn these fundamentals of here's the baseline of how I can lead, how I can approach it, how I can influence people so that if they do like it or don't like it, at least they had all the necessary tools to say, I knew the basics and it's just not for me, like you said. Or I knew the basics and hey, I kind of like this.
Yeah. No matter what you do, you have to be happy what you do.